That's more than most people's homes alone that they've lost on this property. There's a couple things I know you love to see. One of which is seeing houses that have sold for ridiculous losses in a very short period of time. In today's video, we've got some sales that are taking us back to 2017. We've got some sales on expensive homes, smaller homes, and we even have a little treat for you at the end of the video. There's a realtor out there who's been trying to sell their own property, and guess what? They're not having any luck. Go figure. The other thing that you guys seem to love is actually reaching out and asking me for my help in moving in the GTA. So happy that you guys are doing that. I'm always happy to give you any information that I can provide, whether it's just some advice, some guidance, or just giving you some entertainment on the videos here. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're going to get into it and show you exactly what's happening across the GTA, sometimes a little bit further out. The first one we're going to look at here is in Woodstock. We're looking at this one because it's a ridiculous loss. So you can see here, it just sold for $665,000. This is a detached home between 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. That's a lot of space for $665,000. This is not a condo. That's what you'd be getting in the GTA, maybe a condo townhouse. But we are seeing a full detached home. A lot of us would be extremely happy to have this home. Whether you want to be in Woodstock or not, completely different situation. So let's see what these guys actually bought this home for. Before we get into the details, of course, we are going to see what happened. Let's look at it. This one here was actually purchased. Let's get it for 1.240. So about half. So this home has been purchased in 2022. You can see that the first time they tried to sell it was in 2023. Wasn't happening. They tried the bidding war at $999. They went and relisted it at a price they felt was fair value, which was still less than what they bought the home for, keep in mind. And then they tried again, lowering it again. They played the game for quite some time here. You can see they've been all over the place. It's like 500 times they've listed and sold it and tried to lease it out here. And then we finally had a power of sale. And if you've watched one of my most recent videos, I'll put it up here. Power of sales are happening a lot more frequently now. And this one here is almost 45% less than what they paid for the home. But let's take a look. Let's see what the home actually looks like. That's important. So let's see. All right, we got that detached home, double car garage. Honestly, I like the way this house looks. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is when these driveways and the garages, they're not lined up. I would much rather it be lined up. When you're storing things on the inside, it becomes a huge pain in the ass, at least in my opinion. The neighbor, hey, they got a nice boat on their driveway there. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus, but let's see the inside. Hardwood staircase, nice high ceilings when you do come in. I'm a fan of the entryway, main floor office here. Smaller kitchen, nothing crazy, nothing over renovated or anything like that. A nice space for a larger table, some bar top seating. You know what, for me, $660,000 seems about right from this space here. It's a smaller living space with a kitchen that's not huge. You got your laundry room and garage entrance here, bathroom upstairs, and the main floor was not very big, right? So let's see what the rest of the home looks like with your additional bedrooms, a walk-in closet. We've got laundry, ensuite, big bathroom, big bedrooms, and an unfinished basement. Backyard, nice. You got a hot tub, you got some deck, solid. This is a newer home as well. But all in all, this seems like a really good buy. Whether or not you want to be in Woodstock, $665,000, that might be worth the commute for some people if they're working or spending a lot more time seeing people in the GTA. This one, to me, power sale, this one was a good deal. Will this get cheaper as time goes on? I don't know. This seems like really, really decent value right out the gate. The second one I'm going to show you, we're going to head to Toronto. This is a big boy price tag. Not a lot of us are looking at homes in this price tag, myself included. It was listed for 7.9, call it $8 million, sold for $850,000 less than the list price. But guess what? They bought it for more than $799, of course. Let's see what they bought it for. That's always the thing. We want to see how much of a loss there has been, and you already know that this is going to be a 2022 purchase. It always seems to be the case. Let's go. 2022. There we go. December of 2022. This one was purchased for $8.5 million, and it was listed within 6 months for $11.9 million. Then, of course, they played the game, and then finally listed it for lease, last ditch effort here, and then sold it for 7.1. So we're talking a $1.3 million loss. That's more than most people's homes alone that they've lost on this property. It is unbelievable. When you're looking at a property like this, you are going to be looking at taxes that are just wild. $24,000 a year on taxes. They paid a huge price tag. They've got the taxes here that after 3 years, they've paid almost $100,000 in taxes alone. You had to consider the land transfer tax to buy it. When you're selling a home like this and they're offering the agents 2.5% for the cooperating agent, so they're probably paying around 4 or 5% to sell their home. At $8 million, you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional fees to actually get this sold. So they took a $1.3 million cut. They probably are $1.5 to $1.6 million, if not more, in losses here. Now, I'm sure it's a beautiful home. So let's take a peek inside. As you can see here, it's nice. They've got that twilight photos going on. This is it's a cool looking house. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a nice house. It's $8 million. Let's take a peek. Now, to me, this looks like an $8 million house. If you've watched my most recent video about the $9 million lottery home in Oakville, that one doesn't seem like a $9 million house, and it wasn't. This one actually seems like the value could be here for that $8 to $9 million range, which is what they paid for it when they bought this property. If you haven't watched that video, it's an interesting one, so you can go check that one out here as well. The lottery that's advertising $9 million property, the home is definitely, in my opinion, a little bit shy in value of $9 million. Here you've got the elevator, of course. So this home is, it's gorgeous. It's got all the touches. It's got a rooftop deck. It's got some flash and some style. It may or may not be your specific style, but it's got a lot of it. You got a movie room, a gym. You got the laundry room that's bigger than our bedrooms, a bathroom that's bigger than our bedrooms. What is that? It's probably like the nanny suite, right? So you've got a lot going on here that is just over the top. Not a lot of buyers are going to be able to actually pull the trigger on a home like this, just from a financial perspective. And of course, you got the pool. You're in a nice neighborhood on a busier street, but at the end of the day, $7.1 million down from the 8.5 purchase price. That's a big loss. That's a loss that these buyers are probably excited to see if they've secured the home, and the sellers are probably just ready to get out of this altogether. Next one we're going to look at, we're going to head to Bowmanville. A lot of people that lived in the GTA core or Toronto and were renting, they saw the opportunity in that 2021-2022 time to get into a property that was a little bit further out because you were going to get value for your money. Now, I don't know if these guys ever got value for their money, but I'm going to show you the current sale price here of $660,000. This was a linked property, so it's a detached house attached by the garage and the foundation, essentially. So you can call it a semi-detached. It's going to be advertised as a detached as well. But let's take a peek here. $660,000 sale price. What was it purchased for? And more importantly, when? This one here, of course, 2022 for $1.125 million. It was listed for sale 2 years later for $900,000. Then they lowered the price for a bidding war, didn't pan out, back to $900,000, and here you go, $660,000. But I'm very, very interested. Was this a bank sale? Was this another power of sale? Ha, go figure. The Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, so another bank sale here. this is something that we are seeing a lot. We're seeing power of sales happen way more frequently than they should, and they are almost always 2022 and today. There are some, of course, in my other power of sale video that were on even worse circumstances. You bought in 2010 and somehow you end up having to go power of sale now. That happens. We're not all the best with our finances, but 2022 to today, these are becoming very, very difficult, and we're seeing a ton of them. Let's look at the house. And once again, I think, before looking at it, this buyer is going to get a detached home for $660,000. That's not bad. But we can compare it to the Woodstock. They're about the same distance from the GTA, both on the east and the west side of things here. So all appliances are gone. They were likely beat up, and you still have carpet. This is really looking like a scene out of a movie. I don't have to tell you what kind of movie. Doesn't look like it's been kept well, but unfortunately, if you can't keep going with the payments of your home, it's unlikely that you're even going to be able to take care of the property. So for $660,000, the buyers of this property are going to have to deal with taking care of the property, putting a fence up in this case here to give some separation from the neighbors, and just do some more maintenance overall. Now I've got one more to show you before I show you the video of the agent who is unfortunately trying to sell her home and not having any luck. But we'll talk about why she's not having any luck shortly. Now, here we are. Last one, sold for $1.2 million, listed for $1.3. So they took a $100K haircut from their list price at 1 McKee Court in Ajax. Now, let's show you, of course, a bank sale. Once again, that is 3 bank sales that I've shown you out of 4 properties. Let's show you what they purchased it for. You know you're not going to like it, or you might like it. Here you go. This one was purchased for $2.3 million in 2024. I don't know why. I don't know why that was the case. Nobody should have paid $2.4 million for this, or $2.3 million for this in 2024. That's not where things were. That doesn't make any sense. It was sold in 2021 for $1,075,000. So I don't know what has happened here. $2.3 million. And there is the transfer that is here as well. So it's not like this is incorrect. I see the transfer, and then we sell once again. Maybe I'm missing something, but 2.3 to 1.2 is a $1.1 million loss on a detached home that is, let's see, 2,500 to 3,000 square feet in Ajax, out of all places. This is what we're dealing with here. Let's take a peek. I'm not a fan of the interlock and the way that is, but that's just a style thing on my end. Nice high ceilings on the entry with your ceramic tile. You've got your hardwood. This is empty, of course, because it is a bank sale. You've got your dining room. You've got, at the back of the house, you've got the living space combined with the kitchen. Very nice kitchen. It's got, it's got the little things, the pot filler. It's got all the things you need, the walled oven here, some space for a table. Not a big space for a table, but you got a space for a table. Garage entrance with your laundry. Massive, massive master ensuite here. Nicely renovated. But looking at this, and I just want to see if the basement is finished before we make the statement. So you have the finished basement here with the little sink, their separate laundry down, or the laundry is down here rather. It's finished, but it's nothing crazy because you don't even have flooring or baseboard from what I can tell there. And the backyard is nothing particularly special. So these guys, I don't think this should have ever been 2.3 either in any market. Maybe this is a 1.5, 1.6 and something's going on wonky with the numbers on the back. It's still a big loss. If it is as we see it, it's a $1.1 million loss, another bank sale, another unfortunate situation for a seller, but another opportunity for the buyers in this market. You can see there is opportunities out there. Some of these prices are really reasonable right now, which is why people are reaching out and actually making moves in the GTA and further out right now with me is because they see the opportunity is here. It makes sense, and they're going to live in a house for the next 5 to 10 years. So it doesn't matter if you buy today or if you buy in 2 years. They're happy to get into the market now, knowing that these prices are coming down significantly from the last couple of years. But before I leave you with these 4 losses, I'm going to talk to you about the news piece right here. And let me play this video real quick for you.
Does a deeper dive into navigating the housing market. Adrian.
Sandy, the housing picture has a different facade depending on where you're located in the country. Here north of Toronto in Newmarket, Ontario, a single mother bought this home behind me back in 2017. Now desperate to sell, for months she struggled to even get a single offer.
I have to basically beg people to come and just even look at the house. I've been struggling.
Miriam Musavi admits she's barely making ends meet. As a real estate agent in the Greater Toronto Area, her net income has dropped significantly as housing sales have dried up.
200 to 300K versus for past year, I think I didn't make more than 50K.
The reason why we're seeing a real estate agent having a difficult time selling their home is because there are way too many real estate agents in the GTA, in Ontario, and in Canada. In the Ontario Real Estate or Toronto Real Estate Board, we have almost 100,000 agents as it is. Unfortunately, almost 95% of those, I think right now, are doing less than 1 to 3 transactions a year, which is an extremely low amount. Those people are potentially, like this lady here, working part-time, maybe just servicing family and friends, and not actually understanding what it takes to sell a home in the market. And if you're not able to sell your own home in the market, what does that say when you're going to represent a client or a family member or a friend? It shows that you're not really knowledgeable about what the market's doing. And if you bought in 2017, you likely have equity in the home. This is not a bash on this specific lady. It's just the situation itself. If a real estate agent can't sell their home, it's because they don't understand the actual market and what's happening in our market. You're trying to get a fantasy price versus trying to sell for what someone's willing to pay. All of that to say, if you're going to make a transaction in the GTA or in Ontario or wherever it is you're looking to get a home, use somebody who's a full-time agent that you can trust, who actually transacts and does business and knows what's going on in the market. If you're just going to use your uncle or your family friend or somebody else who maybe does a couple transactions a year, you may not be looking at somebody who has your best interests at hand. Hopefully this was another video that you enjoyed. Seeing these losses can just compound month over month. It seems like we are not running out of these. If not, we are getting more of these. And if you're interested in seeing some more losses, you can watch this video here.